Most Britons will never save £20,000. Let that sit for a second. Not most Britons in a bad year. Most Britons, full stop. And here is the part nobody tells you. If your bank account is thinner than you would like it to be in 2026, that is not a personal failing. It is the statistical norm. The average person in the UK is holding just £19,214 in savings. Sounds reassuring, doesn't it? Except that number is a lie of comfort. Because when you strip out the wealthy households in the home counties, who drag the average upward, the whole picture collapses. 2 in 5 adults, that is 39% of the entire country, have £1,000 or less to their name. And 16%, roughly 1 in 6, have nothing at all. So no, you are not behind. You are the middle of the pack. Let me show you exactly where you sit and precisely how you climb out. Start with the big picture. The ONS tracks something called the household savings ratio, the slice of your income you actually manage to keep instead of spend. In early 2026, that figure sits at 8.9%, and it is falling. It dropped from 9.6% in just 3 months, and the reason is brutally simple. Housing, energy, and the everyday cost of staying alive ate the difference. Now, here is where most people get fooled. There are 2 numbers in personal finance, and only one of them tells the truth. The first is the average. Add up everyone's savings, divide by the population, and you get that comforting figure, around £19,000. But averages are easily hijacked. One quiet millionaire in Surrey can lift the average for an entire town of renters. The second number is the median, the person standing dead center, half the country above them, half below. And the median tells a very different story. Look at the over 55s, and the average savings figure balloons to £33,420. But look at everyone under 55, and the average already collapses to £9,888, with the median sitting far lower still. The middle Briton is not sitting on a pot, they are sitting on a puddle. And this is not a discipline problem, it is a bandwidth problem. Researchers who study scarcity discovered something remarkable. Worrying about money doesn't just make you miserable, it physically consumes your mental processing power. When one part of your brain is permanently running a background calculation, can I cover the energy bill? Will the rent clear? What happens if the car dies this month? You have less capacity left for everything else. They measured it. People under real financial pressure effectively lost a slice of their functional intelligence. Not because they were less capable, but because scarcity was hogging the wiring. Think about what that means. The very people who most need to make sharp, long-term decisions about saving and investing are the ones whose brains are being drained by short-term panic. Poverty isn't only a lack of money, it is a tax on your attention. And that is exactly why just budget better is such useless advice. You cannot out-discipline a brain that is already running on empty. So let's walk through the decades. Find yourself, your 20s. This is survival mode. Entry-level wages meet the most punishing rents in modern history. In London, the average private rent has climbed to around £2,253 a month. Across the UK as a whole, it is roughly £1,367. For someone aged 18 to 24, average savings sit at just £2,699, and the median is often less than £1,000. At this age, you are not building wealth. You are renting your own survival, one payday at a time. Your 30s. Welcome to the sandwich generation. This is the decade of the mortgage deposit, the wedding, and the single most savage line item in British family life, childcare. You may finally be earning a proper salary, and yet your account is scraped clean at the end of every month. This is the great paradox of the 30s. High income, zero cash. Every extra pound you earn has already been spoken for before it even lands. Your 40s. On paper, these are your peak earning years. In reality, peak earnings collide head-on with peak expenses. Bigger house, bigger mortgage, teenagers who cost more than toddlers ever did, and, increasingly, aging parents who need support of their own. The money coming in is finally big. So is everything reaching into the account to take it back out. Your 50s and 60s. And here the country splits cleanly in two. On one side stand those with a gold-plated defined benefit pension, a guaranteed income for life, negotiated in a world that barely exists anymore. On the other side stand everyone else, relying on whatever they have managed to scrape into a SIP or a modest ISA. Same age, same street, sometimes. Two completely different retirements. And which side you land on is being decided by the choices you make right now. Which brings us right back to that number, £20,000. Why does that specific figure matter so much in Britain? Two reasons. First, it is exactly 1 year of the ISA allowance, the maximum you are permitted to shelter from HMRC in a single tax year. Hit 20,000 and you have, in effect, filled 1 entire year of tax-free space. But the real reason is psychological, and it is this: £20,000 is a shield. It is the difference between a crisis and an inconvenience. Lose your job with nothing in the bank, and within weeks you are borrowing at brutal interest rates, falling behind on council tax, and spiralling into a debt trap that is designed to keep you there. Lose your job with £20,000 behind you, and suddenly you have breathing room, months to think, months to choose your next move, instead of grabbing the first desperate thing on offer. That is the turning point. Below it, you are fragile. Above it, you are protected. And every single pound between here and there is buying you something worth far more than the pound itself. It is buying you options. And something strange happens the moment you cross that line. Your brain changes gear. Below the threshold, you live reactively. You buy things for the hit, the takeaway, the impulse order, the little dopamine reward that makes a hard week feel survivable. And honestly, nobody should blame you. That is exactly what a stressed brain reaches for. But once you have a genuine buffer, the panic circuit finally switches off. And when it does, you stop buying things and you start buying assets. You move from reactive to proactive, from spending for comfort to investing for freedom. The buffer doesn't just protect your money. It quietly upgrades every decision you make with it. So how do you actually get there? 3 steps. No gimmicks. Step 1. The 30-day audit. For 1 month, track every single pound. The Tesco shop, the Sainsbury's meal deal, the coffee on the morning commute, all of it. You are not here to judge yourself. You are here to gather evidence. You cannot fix a leak you cannot see. And almost everyone is quietly stunned by where the money actually disappears to. Step 2. Pay yourself first. This is the rule that changes everything. Most people save whatever is left at the end of the month. And funnily enough, nothing is ever left. So flip it completely. The day your salary lands, an automatic standing order moves money straight into a cash or stocks and shares ISA before your fingers can ever reach it. You never see it. You never miss it. Saving stops being a decision you have to win 30 times a month and becomes a system that runs quietly without you. Step 3. Mind the gap. Here is the hard truth nobody selling you a budgeting app will ever admit. Cutting your coffee will not make you wealthy. The real game is the gap, the distance between what you earn and what you spend. You can shrink your spending, yes, but there is a hard flaw to that. You cannot spend less than 0. There is no ceiling on the other side. Ask for the raise, build the side income, learn the skill that pays more, widen the gap from the top, not just from the bottom. Here is the last thing, and it is the thing that keeps people going when it feels hopeless. Saving feels pointless at the very start because the progress is painfully slow. £10, £50, a few hundred over long grinding months. It feels like nothing. And then, quietly, it stops being slow. Interest compounds. Investments grow on top of their own growth. The line that crawled along the floor for years suddenly bends upward, and then it keeps bending. So picture every pound you save as a soldier. On its own, £1 does nothing at all, but saved, it goes to work. It stands guard against the next emergency. It earns quietly while you sleep, and slowly, an entire army assembles, one that fights every single day for the one thing money is actually for. Not things. Freedom. You are not behind. You are just getting started. Now go and build your army. If you learned something, make sure to like this video and hit subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.